All right. Hello, guys. It's High Priestess Jamila. So, I wanted to come and talk briefly about a couple of things. And I'm a start off this discussion just with a little filler discussion. And I already know that maybe some representatives of famous folks, celebrities, which we all love, but it's some it what I not Beyonce, not Jay and Bay, but some of these people, they doing a little too much. And I wanted to make a quick comment about authentic witchcraft and how you hear that word being thrown around a lot, and people having absolutely and utterly no idea the depth of witchcraft and magic. It's deep. The only way I can describe it is deeper than the Mariana Trench. And I wanted to come on here and acknowledge and to give warning to people about how, for some reason, when it comes to Hollywood as well as the music industry, they like to really describe a lot of what they do as witchcraft, which I'm not doubting that there's actual real witches that are singers, dancers, actors in Hollywood. I'm not doubting that at all. I'm not going to name the ones that I know about, but I know that they exist, and I have no problem with them. But like, take for example, there are a lot of people that are trying to ritualize what, for example, Sean Combs did during his baby oil, him playing in baby oil. I can assure you that what he was doing, although any witch, authentic witch that decided, could possibly do those types of things. However, the ones that I have spoken with are typically and generally repelled by that, repulsed by it. Um, but they want to call it witchcraft when, from what I can see as an outsider looking in, to me, I'm just looking at a bunch of possessed people who 1 minute they practicing witchcraft and they working with the Orishas, and then the next thing they're Catholics or something. So that that's not like, I would like to just introduce the real people on my channel that are serious and about the occult and witchcraft, and some of y'all that are even thinking about getting spiritual work done or readings or both, to understand that an orgy or some kind of weird baby oil soaked sex party is not directly related to witchcraft. In fact, to me, what it looks like is a lot of things that was described in the Bible, and with all the talk of Babylon. But I just want to remind y'all that witches existed eons before religion was even created. So, but however, there are many, many, many spirits and other stuff that I can't really get into that is providing the necessary possession of people that will make them either a willing or unwilling or just totally ignorant adversary of yours. And so, you know, um, especially when it comes to hip hop culture, and some of the things that you guys hear about. As an indigenous woman, it really irritates me, uh, as a witch, as an indigenous woman and a witch, to have my craft and who I am being compared to some of the goofy, wonky, weird things that they're doing. Okay, which honestly, I don't judge them for, as long as it's not violating anybody's human, civil, and spiritual rights. Okay, so because I was looking at some videos, uh, somebody had sent me a video with Jaguar Wright, and I was just like, oh, this lady is just all over the place, and I think that while witches are now scouring the internet looking for someone that has a problem with us, I think that when you bring up the word witch or witchcraft, you're going to hear from somebody, you know what I'm saying? And so they don't really know how to be careful with that. So please separate at least this channel as well as myself from all of that malarkey, because I am a real witch. And what they be doing in them, with the whole baby oil splash, water splash, this, when I'm not saying splash waterfall, but waterfalls of baby oil, that's not, that's that's not witchcraft. Okay. And you know what? I think that people need to just call it what it is, or find another label for it. Okay. So I just wanted to kind of say that to fill in or whatever. Yeah. No, 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 and it's a lot to pay attention to, things that I'm not going to discuss right now. What I want to talk to you guys, because I mean, the stuff that I could expose, we already know. I've spoken about, the spirits of the South in Georgia, and the this and the that, and the grid and the energy harvesting. We all know about that. Like it's I don't have to keep repeating it. You know what I'm saying? So, which leads me to the discussion about Saturn, your Saturn Mercury return readings. Um, they are priced and valued at the regular price that I set my readings. And I encourage you all to get them, because they are actually alchemy readings, and they're very valuable, especially if you are dealing with certain problems and issues, and that's what I'm here for. If I never was to tell you what the value is of my service, I wouldn't have a business. So you guys are welcome to visit my link tree, or either cash at me for those readings, because this is a very important time right now. Saturn went into retrograde, and then Mercury just went into retrograde on the 18th. And so I can promise you that you're having the same universal problem that we all have had to deal with. Okay. Which is certain powers that be, the confused people, and just other stuff. So but I think that the way that you deal with it in your relationship with Saturn, because a lot of people, they like to relate Saturn with Satan, and Satan is not a deity himself. Satanism is about freedom and liberation. Satanus is a deity, which some people would arguably say, with very good argument, that Satan would be comparable to the horned god of this planet. So, I mean, it just depends on how you look at it, whatever, whatever. Okay. So, it's important for you to understand that the messages are being blocked out purposely, You know, and those are the things that you should be asking about. What messages does Saturn have for me? What messages does Mercury have for me? What messages does the universe, everything above and below, has for me? Because I have this issue and this problem, and the answer is going to lie within that. Okay, so just get at me about that, because right now, uh those are important. Okay. Oh, and by the way, guys, be on the lookout. I'm going to be uploading a video of a flip through of a new tarot deck that I got called the Light Seers Tarot. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. I'm gonna be uploading that video soon. Okay. So what was the next thing I was going to talk about? Hold on. Okay. So the next thing that I want to talk about is my approach of resolving common issues that y'all have and doing it as quickly as possible and understanding what needs to be done immediately. So it's kind of like, I think a lot of people got confused, and it's okay to transmute energy. Transmuting energy is so important. Okay, to transmute negative to positive is so important. However, the traditional repelling and attracting is where it is at. Okay. So, repelling work is going to be what you want to ask about, because repelling is also warding, but it's something about repelling that seems to be a power word of the millennium, is repelling. Repelling. Okay. And so when you look at your 12 layers of your auric shield, which is, we're going to talk about that for a few minutes, but come to me to get your readings because I can read that. That auric shield that you have has a couple of layers that act to repel what doesn't serve you and what harms you. But then it also simultaneously has a layer that attracts what you want. Okay. So it's important for you to tend to that. And a lot of the drama, the abuse, the trauma, the spiritual attacks, the psychic attacks that you've been experiencing has been tearing down that auric shield. Okay, which makes you more susceptible to other people's possession, other people's suggestion, and other people's spells and rituals. So, rebuilding that is really important. For some people, um, it takes a little while, which is why I have a herb mix for that. Okay, that helps build it like within minutes. I would say within 60 minutes. Okay, rebuild that up. Because it's really important for you to have that. And, the enemy or the adversary, whoever that is that you have going on, they have studied that. They have educated others on how to break you down and tear you down, not with an intention of loving you, but with an intention of hurting you. Okay. So, when we do love work on people, yeah, we have to get through that shield because that shield holds your will. But, it's a difference between breaking somebody's shield down for purposes of love versus purposes of destruction and harm and to make them sick and to take from them, to steal from them. So that's primarily what spirit is telling me during this time, especially now while Mercury is in retrograde, because Saturn's going to be in retrograde. That doesn't mean that you want to delay it. Okay. Saturn is in retrograde until November. Mercury will only be in retrograde for what, like 2 to 3 weeks. And Mercury is, oh my God, how I love Mercury. Oh my God. So inspiring, especially when it comes to the organization that you need, and then healing. Um, Saturn, I'm going to be honest with you guys, is going to be a huge key in your prosperity, your abundance, your money, your liberation, your freedom. Okay. And so, while there is a war, supposedly, there's war against that. It's, to me, it's not anything that it's not supposed to be crash and burn. It's more so of like a quiet, blissful thing, because honestly, you call to the right folks, especially when you start getting into planetary alchemy and you are benefiting from Mars, Aries, okay, and Tiamat is going to be phenomenal in and of course they've been there, done that. They've been there, done that, especially when you're working with goddesses like Hecate, every single struggle. And even some of them like Current Wind, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. They all have been there, done that, with what a lot of us are going through that, sometimes has some of us crying in the corner. You can hear me. Testing, 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 testing. Okay, sorry about that. Testing, what in the world? Testing, testing. Okay, sorry about that. So what I was saying is that a lot of the, especially the goddesses, they have been through exactly what you are going through. They've been through the near death experiences. Some of them have even been through getting burned at the damn stake. They've all been through it. Okay. And so rumor has it is that if you were innocent of practicing witchcraft and you actually weren't a witch, you became one when you got burned. So that's just I'd say embrace it. Okay, because it shouldn't, I don't think it's gonna ever happen in this lifetime. I hope not in that sense, because it's, according to man's law, that's very, very illegal for them to just be burning the bodies of women and men and children. You just can't be doing stuff like that. That's kind of wrong. So they've been there, done it, and they're not here to take away from you. Like I've actually like sensed and picked up is like, I yeah, no, and then when certain things happen to teach you something, or things that are already a part of your journey, then people want to say, oh, well, your God has failed you or whatever. Those things are a test. Those things are a test of your loyalty, because loyalty is royalty and it is very important. So, and anyway, so, you know, um, make sure that you are asking about your auric shield. Okay, and that you're interested in what that is, because some people will contact me, they'll say, oh, where's my boyfriend, is he gonna come back? And it's like, I understand asking those kinds of questions. By the way, guys, I work part-time for a psychic hotline, and I'll just be wanting to tell those people, like, you need to look deeper as to what, as well. But a lot of those common problems have a lot to do with baneful magic, oppression, suppression, omission, and just people being stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then of course possible witchcraft that is being used against you. And how is it being sent to you? Now, if you were abused, like I'm talking about, severely abused, either physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, in your home growing up, your shield was gone by the time you reached your preteens. Okay. Some of you guys were not. You were loved immensely and protected in your home by your parents or either your grandparents, and your shield was probably not torn down, or either it was very strong, up until your adulthood, until these very hungry, thirsty spirits began to eat away at your shield. Because honestly, and I kind of think that that's all they want is your shield. Okay, think about it. Just by getting that within itself. Okay. And humiliation, degradation, oppression is factually the process that is used, as well as abuse, to tear that down. Okay. And a lot of y'all that was abused, we're not going to discount or not make your abuser hold accountability, but probably in at least half of those cases, they were under possession, and they didn't even ever benefit from that. They didn't even benefit. Somebody else did, or something else benefited. You know what I'm saying? From you being essentially eaten, basically, is what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So that's what my Saturn group is working on, is rebuilding the shield of everybody. But then also it's good to do the individual building of that shield, in which I'll talk to you guys about that, because I don't, it's easier for me to just speak to you guys in private about all of this, because I don't want to trigger nobody. And for some reason, I, more than anybody, I just trigger people, and I don't understand why. I still don't. Y'all, I can't figure it out. Oh, goodness gracious. There's this channel that I stumbled upon, guys. This lady looks just like my grandmother Versi. It's so weird. I'm like, who are you? Who? I mean, she just looks like my grandmother that passed away like 20 years ago. Anyway, and I just, spirit had led me to her, and I was like, oh yeah, this lady needs to be protected. I don't agree with 100% of everything that is being said, but I'm vibing with it, and I think I may share that on the community wall. She's pretty amazing. Is breaking down state to state what is happening with these grid lines, and oh God, it's a whole trip. And a lot of you guys, especially right now, is such a powerful healing time. It just seemed like when you're healing, it's just raw. You just feel raw, and you can feel it. And so we're definitely working Mercury's energy in there with it, big time. Okay, with Mother Earth, of course, Gaia, uh, and others to ground you guys and to refresh y'all. So if y'all, but my suggestion honestly is that if you ready to get up out of there, get the repelling and attraction work is what we're going to start calling curse reversals, repelling and attraction work. Hey Stefan, because that's essentially what you're doing when you are removing a curse. In these days, more than anything, you're mainly, not all the time, but you're mainly dealing, because some people don't want nothing from you. They just want you dead for some reason. They just, are messed up. But a lot of the times, and most of the times, it's because folk want something from you. So, that's the point of doing that. So, anywho, make sure y'all get those and be on the lookout for, I think I'm going to do a set of readings for Mercury retrograde with my new deck. I'm going to connect, and it typically will take me a few hours to connect with a new deck. And I'm excited because from what I could see from the illustrations, because honestly, um, it's important to know what the cards mean, but that's only the first step. It's also important to learn the alchemical energies that are being, coded to you, being given to you when you're doing a reading. But this particular deck, I really, really like it because of the illustrations are really, really cool. So I'll be doing a flip through of that and uploading it to this channel for y'all's delight, because we have not done that in a while. Okay. All right. Anywho, y'all. Hugs and kisses. Hug the babies for me. Okay. Hug the babies. Tell them that High Priestess Jamila loves them. Okay. I done tap back into my divine mommy frequencies too. Just because that's hard. Oh my God. Oh. Balance. Hello. Anywho, hug the babies for me. I'll see y'all later. Okay. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and to schedule a reading, I got my link tree. I ain't doing no websites right now, man. Like I think I'm just gonna keep my link tree, and whenever I get back on Etsy, I'm just gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and just, hell, I'd rather pay Etsy they little fees or whatever per month. You know what I'm saying? Because I like the Etsy community. I really do. It's such a beautiful community. I love the Etsy community. You know, uh, just all of the handmade stuff and the artsy stuff and the rare stuff that you can get, like rare herbs and seeds and flowers and stuff. The whole concept of websites like Etsy should be protected. You know what I'm saying? So anywho, all right, y'all have a wonderful rest of y'all day, and get it in, especially because when Mercury went into retrograde, it was just like, ah. And so if you can hear my voice, because some people are just like, you lucky if you can hear the right voice. I'm telling you, because it is jacked. Oh my God. And Hermes and Athena and even Tiamat, because she kind of travels back and forth between Mars and Mercury, they want to release y'all from that mind control. Because mind control ain't no different from possession. It might be slightly different alchemically and spiritually, but it's basically the same thing that mind control is. And that's what they want. They want a bunch of people under that mind control. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying. Okay, y'all. See y'all later. Bye.